I really like Utah because of the tremendous diversity of geography in the state. You can come here and get to the southern Red Rock areas, or you can visit the Uintas or the Wasatch.
It's why many of us choose to live here. I love the mountains, I love the outdoors, I love the lifestyle.
We all love our outdoors and we enjoy that beauty, and we actually recreate, whether you live in the city, in downtown Salt Lake City, or you are in Kanab, Utah.
Everybody's partial to their own district, it's like anything else, but I believe that I represent the most beautiful part of the world, literally. I mean, I grew up in Beaver, and Beaver Mountain is just, if you've never been there, it's just a wonderful mountain. And then here we have Cedar Breaks, we have Zion National Park, these are in my district. I don't know, it doesn't get much better.
I got my 16 grandchildren that all live in Emery County. We like to go fishing, we go to the mountains, they love to hunt, we go hunting together. We have camping, we got beautiful camp spots. We have several state parks here in rural Utah. That's where a lot of the state parks are.
A big part of my childhood and a big part of my family's recreation now is going into the mountains to hunt and fish. We're blessed here in this state with places where we can do that. And one of the things that I hope going forward is those opportunities and those places are protected in some form or fashion, managed appropriately so that those uses can continue, but also maintained so that the things that I love today are available for my children and my children's children.
So I live in Minersville, Utah, and I am a farmer, I'm a rancher, and also the county commissioner. And everything that we do, land, water, and air, is involved in what I do for a living. We try to be conservative with our water specifically because water is a precious commodity in the desert, and we are in the high desert in Beaver County. We're thankful for every drop of rain or any inch of snow that we get at any course of time during the year.
I was born and raised here in northern Utah, and my ancestors settled some of this land. We have a century farm here. I feel a strong tie to this land, and after 40 plus years of working here on the farm, it becomes a part of you. It becomes a part of your makeup, I guess you could say.
These fields represent our history. They represent our culture of farming and agriculture. They represent a time that's gone by. We're seeing so many fields turned into housing developments. And we know that that's part of what's happening in our state because everyone wants to be here.
When I grew up, there were single-family residences, and new developments were single-family residences with an occasional grocery store thrown in. Today, if we all had that same thought, we couldn't move anywhere. We would have constant gridlock. As I look at our region, one of the things that I am concerned about is how do we get people from point A to point B, and how that can impact our air quality. Research is one of the key things that we use in order to get the data to understand how we can make these types of long-range land use decisions, whether it's local and regional or even throughout the state. And these are the things that will help us to make good, solid transportation decisions moving forward.
If you live adjacent to Zion National Park or one of the other gateway communities, and now traffic makes it difficult for you to even go to the grocery store, that's a real impact on your previous rural lifestyle. If you're a rancher used to a certain water supply and that's being curtailed, that has a real impact on not only your economic welfare, but your whole lifestyle. There are issues that we really need to grapple with and solve jointly.
Without understanding issues, especially issues as complex as the ones we're talking about, it's almost impossible to create good policy to maintain or address those issues.
My profession is in the healthcare related fields. If it wasn't for research there, we wouldn't continue to have evolving treatments and other things. So I can liken that to research in public lands. As our stewardship gets more challenging with public lands, I think we have to have good quality research and information in order to make the right decisions about how we handle certain things within those public lands.
I really commend Utah State University for leading in this conversation, for thinking ahead. We need to start thinking of our growth. When we have this great economic growth, we also need to respond to that growth in terms of how we're going to be stewards of our land and our beautiful state.
You know, we need to learn to live within our climate and our means. You know, we're getting more populated, and so we're having to farm more efficiently. Research really helps to do that.
I am a 5th generation Utahn. I care about our economic success and I care about our environmental health. My name is Brian Steed. I'm the Executive Director of the Utah State Department of Natural Resources.
I'm Chris Lukey. I'm the Dean of the Quinney College of Natural Resources at Utah State and the co-chair with Brian Steed of the Institute for Land, Water, and Air.
We're working jointly with a number of faculty as well as other members of the community to really provide the information that Utahns need in order to make informed decisions.
It's important for policy decisions to be linked to research findings, and that's how we more efficiently prioritize things that we need to be working on, helping us better understand the situation and better understand how to make policy that helps the people of Utah.